Hello, I want to show you how to set onsets in Sonic Visualizer. So this video, if you're watching this video, I assume that you have already installed Sonic Visualizer as well as all VAMP plugins. So one important thing, it seems like that the latest version of Sonic Visualizer it takes the audio output whenever you open Sonic Visualizer, which means that if you are planning on listening to it under headphones, then you need to plug in the headphones before you open Sonic Visualizer. So in this case, I don't want to listen under headphones. I want to listen through the speakers. So I don't have the headphones plugged in. I will open Sonic Visualizer. And then I open my file. Now, also it's important that you find, you create a folder for your sound file, and in the same folder you should later save the Sonic Visualizer files. Because once you reopen the Sonic Visualizer file and want to continue working on your file, then it will look for the audio recording in that particular folder. So I will take right now an MP3 version. I usually recommend a sound file that has less reduction, is less compressed, like M4A. But I'm not sure if my computer will be fast enough right now with processing everything, including Zoom. So I take the MP3 file. So I open it. Here's the audio file. Then very important is you have different layers here. One is just a blank canvas. The next layer is a ruler. The next layer here is the waveform that you see. And you can, of course, have separate channels, or you can combine them as mean or create a butterfly. If you want to learn about the difference, you can read about it online. I usually like looking at both channels separately, but you can just as well combine them in one of the two ways. So now, once you set the onsets with a VAMP plugin, it will create another layer with the onsets in it. And the onsets are created if you go to transform. Now, I have some recent transforms, so these are the ones that I used recently. I do recommend, for the purpose of flute music in this case, the Note Onset Detector by Queen Mary, University of London. So, of course, if you haven't used it recently, it will not show up here under recent transform, but you can either look under analysis by maker, or you can use by go by category, and you go by nodes. No. No, let me see. Classification. How would you find it? Under, oh, right, of course, under time, onsets, and then node onset detector, Queen Mary, University of London, node onsets. But once you have done that, that will show up under recent transform, so you can always run it from there. So if you run this, then it will have a pop-up menu. You can actually modify some of these, but if you don't know the details of the node onset detector, just leave it as it is and hit OK. And then you will see here it's running the onsets right now. And now it set the onsets. As you can already see, there is one missing here right at the beginning, and there are some, and it seems like there are some missing here. Anyways, about the functionality, you do want to make it more visible by having greater contrast. Oh no, the next thing I need to show you is I like to add another layer. Oh, by the way, the onset layer was created right here. And I want to suggest adding a spectrogram that considers both channels, all channels mixed. So add spectrogram, and it creates another layer here. So you can see the spectrogram here nicely. So you're now in the spectrogram layer, and you can stretch it a little bit, and then in this bar you scroll down. Then in the other ruler you scroll in and out, depending on how far. Let's see. Now, right now you cannot see the onsets because you're not in the onset layer. So here layer 4 happens to be the onset layer. If you click on that, these bars are the onsets. Now you also don't see the waveform. You can put the waveform on top, and I like to have nice contrast. I like bright red sometimes, or purple. So now let's see if this actually works if we have some audio. So if you click on play, you should be able to hear the sound, and you should be able to hear the onset as they were set by the onset detector, but they are highly inaccurate. You will have to correct them. So so actually I'm very unhappy with the onsets as they were set here, and I'm wondering if I should redo this with a different onset detector. I will actually try to run what's called Orbio onsets, Orbio onset detector onsets, and then hit OK. I should have gotten rid of the other onsets. Aha, good. Now I have two onsets, two onset layers. This is the one that I just added, and this is the other one, and we can get rid of this. Actually, I don't know how to delete this layer now. Let me see. So what I just did is I undid everything I did, but instead of running the Queen Mary onset, I run the Orbio onset detector again from the outset here. Let me listen to this. Okay, this is just as bad. So the reason I chose this particular file, because it seems to have been recorded in a hall where there's a lot of hall, in the sound bouncing off the walls, which makes it very difficult for the onset detector to be very precise. So I will actually do the Queen Mary again. And I know it's inaccurate, and there are some missing, and there are probably some false ones as well. So then I will also add the spectrogram again, mixed channels. Then I will put the onset layer on top and put the waveform on top and make it purple so I have better contrast. And how much you zoom in here really depends on how you can see the onset. So whenever there is a spike in the spectrogram, there is a new onset. But and I need to go to the spectrogram layer, and I want to zoom out a little bit. No, I did the wrong zoom. I wanted to stretch this a little bit and put this on the very bottom. Yeah, maybe more. Okay, so now we will partially go by what we see, partially go by what we hear, and partially go by the waveform. So what we see is we can look at the spectrogram of where a new node starts. We can look at the waveform, and we usually see where a new node starts, but you have to consider both. And we also go by sound. And here in this wheel, we will slow down. We'll slow down it considerably. So this is slowing down, slowing up to the other side. I mean, speeding up to the other side, not slowing up. Okay, so slow down. Now I will play. Now I will put the layer with the onsets on front, so I will actually see them. But at the very beginning, there is one missing, and I can set this already. So if there are onsets missing, you see this white line here in the middle of the screen. It's always there in the middle of this window. And if you scroll the sound back and forth to the side, and this is now what, okay, my computer has a hard time processing all of this at once. If you scroll the sound file to the side and back and forth, so that the white line is right where the note starts sounding, apparently, as we can see, then you set an onset that's not there under Edit, Insert, Instant at Playback Position. And you can see here that there's a shortcut to it. The shortcut is a semicolon. It should be the same on a PC. So I'm on a Mac, but it should be the same on the PC. Now, because it's inconvenient to always go to Edit and scroll with the mouse down to Insert, Instant at Playback Position. So in the future, I will just use a semicolon. Whenever I hit the semicolon, it sets a new onset. So now I hit it here, and this onset is now set. There are two important features here in the menu. One is this cross, and with this cross, I can click on it and move an onset back and forth to wherever I think it belongs. We will have to move most of them, if not all of them. And the other one, this is an eraser, but if you want to erase one, make sure you go right back to the cross, otherwise the next time you click on an onset, it will also be erased. Okay, so now I have slowed down the file, and I want to start playing and hear how it sounds. So now the difficult work starts, and it seems like that the first note is very long, the second note starts around here, and we can see that in the spectrum, but we can also see that in the changes of the waveform. So we'll take make sure it's on the cross, and we'll take this onset, we'll hold the mouse over it so it lights up, then we click down, we hold down the mouse, and we move it to wherever we think it should be. So let me hear it again. And as you can see, there are several ones missing. So like, for example, there's one missing right here. You see that in the spectrum. So you can move the sound file so that the white line is right there. Then I hit the semicolon, which sets the another onset, there's definitely a new node starting around here. So I bring it there, I hit the semicolon to set an onset. This one I'm not so sure about yet, so let me listen again. Yeah, there's another one starting around here, either here or here. So we will see in a second. But this seems to be right. This seems to be just about right. You can move it out. So the problem with this is that the frequencies of the first sound, which is here, this line basically, is still in the room and overlaps with the new one, but the new one starts around here. Now, it's really important that you, however you do it consistently. And so you may have to move some of the onsets, and other ones you will have to set newly and possibly delete some. I'm still not so sure about this one that may start around here. So let's listen one more time. So there's one missing around here where the white line is. And you would have to set that, and then to readjust all the following, there's probably one starting here that would have to be set, and so on. So I don't want to go to this in detail. All I wanted to show is that this is an audio file that is very difficult to set the onsets accurately. Because, I mean, you can also try other onset detectors depending on the sound file. Some are easier. That means the onsets are more accurately set. Otherwise, others are very difficult depending on the audio features in the audio file. So, anyways, once you have concluded your work, you want to hit File and Save Session As. That basically saves all your layers, and most importantly, it saves your onsets in a Sonic Visualiser file. So then you want to name it so you can recognize the file later on, maybe with a date, possibly with a time on it, like when's January 1st, 2026, 8:10 p.m. or something like that. And then it adds the extension, the file extension, the SV automatically. But I'm not in the right folder, so you have to make sure you save it in the right folder, in the same folder in which the audio file is. This is my audio file, Men's 1033 MP3 file. You can see it also here in the file name. Okay, so I save that, and so then I can close Sonic Visualiser and I can reopen it later and continue working where I left off. Oh, one more important thing. It is really important that, say, you want to remember that you left off here. If you here look up in this corner of the screen, if you hold the mouse over the onset, you will see the timestamp. So in this case, 3.776 seconds. Okay, so of course you wouldn't just work for 3 seconds. If you work on this for an hour, you may get 1 minute of audio file done, maybe 2 minutes if you get faster doing this. But you want to remember it, otherwise you will not be able to find it again to where exactly you have finished already editing your onsets. So you may want to remember it. You may even want to include that in the file name, so that you will remember. If you're entirely done with your with setting the onsets for however far you wanted to get, or the entire audio file, you want to also export the annotation layer. You export the annotation layer. I do all my calculations in Excel, so I actually save it in CSV, and then I open that file in Excel and I can save it there in an Excel format, because it doesn't offer an option here to save it as Excel, but it offers CSV file format, which Excel can open. And so it's important again to save it in the right folder. I would save it in exactly the same folder, maybe with the same file name, but this is a CSV file, and so I save it now. You will have to experiment whether this works right times in seconds. It works on my Mac, but it's also possible to write times in audio samples. But then you will have to divide that by the sampling rate. I will explain that in another video at some point. I usually use write times in seconds. So anyway, so now if I go to this same folder, I have saved two files. One is the Sonic Visualiser file, and if I need to make changes to the onsets, I use that. But once I'm sure that I have all the onsets accurate as I can possibly make them, then I can use the CSV file, open it in Excel, and start working in Excel. Anyways, that's the video for today. Thank you. And I will stop recording now. Bye.